everyone, and welcome back to Parsha Ponderings. I'm Rabbi Elizabeth Bonnie Cohen from Congregation Kehilloth Israel, and I'm just waiting for Rabbi Starr to join us today.
Hi, Rabbi.
Hi, Rabbi Starr. Great to have you with us. I know that Rabbi Hamilton's away this week, so it's just you and me today, and I'm excited to dive into this week's portion. So one of the parts of this week's Parsha, we get the commandment to bless our meals after we've eaten it. It's typical that we say a blessing over our food before we eat it. But then in this week's Parsha, we get the commandment to say a blessing afterward, Birkat HaMazon, as we typically know it. And I'm curious what your practice of Birkat HaMazon is, how you relate to it, what challenges there are, what opportunities it presents.
I've spent most of my adult life telling myself how important gratitude is. In some ways, the flip side of what we talked about last week with covetousness, which is the ability to really savor what one has. I love Birkat. I think it's just a very granular way of making sure that you are taking time to give thanks for being alive, for being able to enjoy God's blessings.
I like to tell our Shabbat guests that just as we bless our food beforehand when our tummies are hungry. It's pretty easy to do that, right? It's easy when we're looking at good food or we're smelling it and our stomachs are growling for us to say, wow, I'm so grateful for this food that's about to be delivered to us. And it's a little bit harder when we're sitting back satisfied, maybe even our bellies are aching because we've eaten so much, to acknowledge that satisfaction. Birkat HaMazon is something that I aspire to incorporate more regularly into my life. At the end of a meal, it's like we rush on to the next thing. The calendar awaits. And so trying to take a moment to pause and to digest for a moment and to digest the gratitude as well.
Yeah, I agree. The new thing really gets in the way of gratitude. We're always looking forward. We need to circle back at least for a moment.
So often taking that moment, even if it's just a moment, to pause. And even if you don't say the whole, prescribed liturgy of Birkat HaMazon, to just sit for just a second and say, thank you. I'm so grateful.
As with so many other things, Judaism, I think, has a really neat way of balancing the fact that we do this as creatures, human beings. When you look at the text of the Birkat, you see both of those strands in there in terms of the Jewy piece, but also the universal human piece.
Well, we'll wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom and moments for offering gratitude in this week to come.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.